How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy With It. I'm Will, and today we're doing the community buzz for March 2023. So if you missed the top 10 games of, March 2023, you can go ahead and check that video out. It should be up on the channel in this, same playlist. But of course, this is the games that are rising the most in the top 100. So I only take the top 100, compare the previous month to the last month, which would be February and March in this case, and then it looks and it does a little math and algorithm and all that fun math stuff, and then it tells me, well, these have risen the most out of those 100 games. All right, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and go into the first game in the list, and that is the number 10 position, and that is Paladins of the West Kingdom. So Paladins of the West Kingdom is I can't remember, is this the last one in the West Kingdom series, but it is a worker placement game, hand management game, where you are going out and, doing different objectives, different tasks to get the most victory points at the end of the game. I believe this one was probably rising pretty highly recently because, of course, Garfield Games did just have their Wayfarers of the South Tigris deliver, and then they did just do the... Oh, what was the other one of the South Tigris? I backed it too. Let me see here. Scholars, there we go. Scholars of the South Tigris. And of course, Adventures is coming out after that. But I believe that Kickstarter probably spurred a lot of people to pull out their edition of Paladins, dust it off, get it played, and see, how they like it. Because a lot of the newer games, some of the mechanics are very similar to Paladins. People compare it to Paladins. Paladins seems to be the most liked of, so far, all of the Shem Phillips games. Number 9 is Great Western Trail, Argentina specifically. So again, watch the top 10. You'll notice that Great Western Trail itself, the second edition, is highly liked. It does usually run into the top 10 each month. This, of course, is the Argentina version. So same thing, the deck building game where you are trying to get cattle, manage your livestock. It does have a rondel, so you can upgrade your character, upgrade your basically your efficiency throughout the game, and you're trying to sell cattle. This one just specifically takes place in the Argentina region. There is a new one coming out for New Zealand. I keep saying Australia, but I think it's specifically New Zealand. So that'll be coming out too, so we'll have to see how that compares. I know between the second edition and Argentina, the brothers Murph specifically say they like Argentina better. All right, so number 8 is Agricola, specifically the revised edition. Most of the time the revised editions or the second editions are going to be higher because everybody's already swapped out and upgraded to the latest version. Agricola is a worker placement hand management game where you are trying to grow goods, right? And very similar. I mean, it's Uwe Rosenberg, so it's a very popular designer. I don't know much about it. We haven't played any of, I don't know if we've played any of his games, let alone specifically Agricola we haven't played. But it's really popular. I do know that there is another one, I think it's Kavana or something like that is based off this system as well. I was trying to figure out why this was gaining popularity, because again, it wasn't in the top 25 video that I did last year for the People's Choice. I didn't see any new expansions. I didn't see any new expansions for Caverna. So I don't know why this one just popped up all of a sudden. I don't know if there was an announcement for like a new big box edition. If you guys can let me know or let the rest of the community know, then we know why Agricola made it to number 8. Number 7 is PAX Premier. So spoilers, I mean, it's one. PAX Premier did make it into the top 10 now, so a lot of people have been playing it. I do believe it was in the top 25 last year, so it is a very much loved game. It's an area control game dealing with the Durrani Empire, right? So in Afghan. So you're basically just trying to win victory by controlling the most area within the game. Area control games have been very hard to find that work well at 2 players. This one actually says it runs 1 to 5 players. So I don't know if it is I guess there's an automa, and I'm imagining in the 2-player game you run that automa as well. This one, I don't know why it didn't why it wasn't on the list last month. Because it could have been in the top 100 for February, but it wasn't in the top 100 for January. Otherwise, it would have had a scoring change, or it didn't move that much from January to February. But from February to March, it had a huge jump because, like I said, it made it into the top 10. But that is Pax Premier second edition. So number 6 is On Mars by Vital Lacerda. I believe there's some new Vital games coming out. Maybe that's why this one showed up. I was thinking it was expansion because I was going to back this Kickstarter, but unfortunately the new expansions were not designed to run at all player counts. Like I think one of the pieces of the expansion was solo, one was like 2-player, and then one was like 3 or 4-player. So like it wouldn't be something that, like, oh, I can get it, I can go through all of the scenarios. But this is a, how do they describe it? So it says there's 2 phases in the game, colonization phase and shuttle phase. Colonization, each player is going to take turn to take actions on the side of the board they're on. If you're in orbit, you can buy and develop technologies, things in your warehouse. It's got tons of things that it says you're doing: delayed process, contracts, in-game bonuses, hand management. It's a big Vidal game. It's a 4.67. So honestly, not backing this might have been a good choice because it might be a little bit too heavy for us. But if you guys have played On Mars, let us know down in the comments. All right. So number 5 for March is Nemesis Lockdown specifically. Nemesis Lockdown is a la Aliens, the movie. It is one of the highly rated or highly thematically rated games on BGG. I think only Nemesis outdoes Nemesis Lockdown, and you're just trying to survive. So you're rolling dice, you're going and sneaking around, you have hidden objectives, so there could be a hidden trader or hidden roles that you're trying to accomplish, and all at the same time you're trying to either eliminate the aliens or just try to stay away from them. Lockdown, of course, takes place on Mars. This one showed up in the buzz because of the new campaign, so the 3rd game is going to be coming out this fall, and then of course Nemesis itself did make it into the top 10, I believe, for that exact same reason. People are going to play their current games when they see a new one is coming out to see whether or not they like it enough to keep it, considering this one jumped on the buzz and the regular Nemesis made it in the top 10. I imagine lots of people are going to be back in that game this fall. All right, so number 4 is another game that made it into the top 10, and that is Mage Knight Ultimate Edition. So Mage Knight is kind of a dungeon crawler type game where you are trying to build up your powerful Mage Knight. There's fighting, fantasy, card conflict, cooperative, deck bag building, dice rolling, grid movement. So normal, go out there and try to defeat the baddies. It is a 4.65, which is pretty high. Don't know why Mage Knight made a big jump. Again, I tried to look. I didn't see any news, any new expansions, any new information about Mage Knight. Mage Knight, the Ultimate Edition, doesn't show up in the BGG top 10 at all, although it was a 2018 RPC Fantasy Award winner. So, I don't know. If you guys know why Mage Knight is all of a sudden people are pulling it out, dusting off the cobwebs and getting it to the table, let me know in the comments. All right, so number 3 is Lord of the Rings, the card game, specifically the new revised core set. So that did come out last year. So I believe it's just taking time for it to finally hit retail and hit distribution. With the way everything is right now, things are taking longer to get there. So I think people are just finally getting this one played. It is moving up very quickly, which I imagine means that the revised rule set is doing something right. This one, of course, by Fantasy Flight Games, is very similar to things like Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror, where you're going to have a customizable deck that you're going to use to then go up against a villain or bad guy or of the sorts. I don't know the difference between this and Marvel Champions or this and Arkham Horror. I know each one has their own subtleties about it. This would probably be, out of the other ones I'd want to try, would be this one. And I don't know, maybe the revised core set solves some of the things that people said they didn't like about Lord of the Rings. I think it was more the fact that it was kind of brutal. Like, you had to actually build a deck. You couldn't just go in with like a random starter style deck like you can with Marvel Champions. But I think the upkeep of the villain is supposed to be better in this than in Marvel Champions. If you've played both, let me know which one you prefer, Lord of the Rings or Marvel Champions. So number 2 is Xia Legends of a Drift System. So this is a 3 to 4 player sandbox game You fly your ships going through solar systems, getting cargo, and so forth. Again, I'm not sure why this one shows up. I do know that there was another game by this publisher. Let me see here. Iridia, which I don't think it's fulfilling yet, but I do know that Iridia is based on that system, so a lot of people are probably waiting for that game to deliver, and they're giving Zaya another try. So it has moved up pretty rapidly, at least compared to last month. And the number one game was one of the biggest risers last month, and it of course did make it into the top 10, and that is Revive. So Revive is finally fulfilling to everybody through either third-party retailers, and I know Colossal had some pre-orders on theirs. I believe Asmodee is also doing some orders, so I'm not sure the difference in the versions, but because people are finally being able to get this game, they are getting out there and playing it. So basically it is a 1 to 4 player asymmetric power game, variable setup, direct conflict fighting. You're going to have a citizen or a tribe, and you're trying to rebuild that civilization using tech trees and your player powers, and then deck bag building to do said things. Seems really interesting. A lot of those are the keywords, buzzwords we like, some kind of builder, asymmetric powers. So this might be something we will try to track down. If you've played Revived, let us know how you liked it. But I believe this will be one of those games that's probably going to move up the ranks pretty quickly. I can see right now BGG overall already has it at 737. So it's already broke the top 1,000, and everybody didn't start getting it, well, at least the English copy, until recently. It was published in other languages before that. There we go, guys. That is the top 10 buzz for March 2023. So these are the games that people are rating on Pub Meeple. If you want to be able to contribute to these videos, make sure, comment down below. That helps contribute to the videos. Let me know why certain things are the way they are. But you can go out and click the link to Pub Meeple. Go out and rank your games, what games you are playing, and compare them to each other, so you know, hey, this was my favorite game for that month. Now the cutoff for the month is the end of the month, but usually the rankings aren't available for a day or two until it all tabulates and calculates, and redundant and extra data gets taken out, and all that fancy behind the scenes stuff that the guys over at Pub Meeple do. I say guys, but I think it's one guy now. But either way, if you want to see more top 10 videos from the community, make sure you hit that subscribe and bell notification. That way you know when they go live. Till next time, guys. Peace.